So, since Resident Evil Village is making headlines upon its release, I thought it would be cool to let people know more about the now rebranded Umbrella Corporation, our favorite obscure company who kicked off the RE franchise. What's up, I'm Cosmic, your friendly neighborhood gamer, and here's 5 facts you didn't know about Resident Evil's Umbrella. Let's go. Fact number 1. Umbrella's exploitive origins involving Tricell. The original Umbrella, Umbrella Pharmaceuticals, was a European company founded in the late 1960s by Dr. Oswald E. Spencer, Edward Ashford, and lesser-known Brandon Bailey and James Marcus. But let's take it back a bit, because 3 of these doctors were inspired specifically by the work of Henry Travis, a defamed writer who wrote a super detailed guide on Africa's lands and cultures, but more importantly, its lands, which led to Travis Enterprises, a company owned by his own family, spreading rumors that his book had creative elements in it, even though it was completely non-fiction. And I know you're like, why would they do that? Well, they didn't want anyone else knowing where all the precious materials were in Africa so they could hoard it all for themselves and make bank, literally using Henry's book to find fauna and flora for their newly established pharmaceutical sector. Because, water, food, and medicine control the world. Now, eventually they would re-establish themselves as Tricell, the company that got just as bad as Umbrella with human experiments and etc., before being bought out by a terrorist organization, which led to the Lost Plaga incident in Resident Evil 4.
It stinks.
Sure does.
No way, Leon.
Way.
Now, if you know your lore, you know a lot of that towards the end involved Wesker's crazy ass, but we'll continue on back to OG Umbrella. Doctors Oswald E. Spencer and James Marcus were intrigued by Henry Travis's account of the Indipaya people of West Africa, whose folklore described a flower which could imbue onto them great powers. Heading out on an expedition with then student Brandon Bailey, I'll leave the links below for all these specific characters, but these 3 obtained the flowers and found that they contain a mutagenic virus later known as the progenitor virus, which they spun off into different mutant strains and were sold as bioweapons to help fund research, the T-virus being one of those bioweapons. Despite that, Spencer made it his goal to ensure the genesis of a new race of humans through this virus, and established Umbrella Pharmaceuticals in 1968 alongside Marcus and their mutual friend, Dr. Edward Ashford. The main goal of the company was actually to ensure that Spencer's goal was met through the progenitor research via Marcus and Bailey. But the public face of Umbrella Pharmaceuticals was an ordinary medicines manufacturer because, stealing and hoarding resources then doing crazy experiments with said resources isn't a good look. And that's how Umbrella came about. Fact number 2 is how Blue Umbrella came to be. After Raccoon City got bombed, the US blamed Umbrella, of course, and the Raccoon trials began. They ended in 2003 around the time Ethan met Mia, with international orders for all the execs to be put behind bars. The backlash was so great that the original Umbrella, Umbrella Pharmaceuticals, went bankrupt, and in the case of Umbrella Japan, well, no buyer wanted them because their ratchet sister company Umbrella USA blew up a city and almost caused the apocalypse. So they got liquidated. Now notice the trend with all Umbrella companies. All assets were just shifted around to governments and buyers. None of all of that crazy research was exactly locked away, just unavailable to the public, but not for long. With the bioorganic weapons, aka BOWs, popping up so frequently around the world thanks to Wesker, the public as a whole caught wind that BOWs existed and began to fear the possibilities of bioterror attacks. So operations began to form, like the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance. That's who Chris Redfield works for, and the other big company was Blue Umbrella, which is Umbrella USA revived with all its assets and now ran under government appointed execs to help clean up the ongoing mess their predecessor started. And that's who you see Chris Redfield leading at the end of RE7 and in Village.
I'm Redfield. I'm glad we found you.
Who made them that way? But now Evelyn's dead.
Fact number 3 is Chris's involvement. Blue Umbrella specifically asked for Chris Redfield's help since he's basically proven reliable when it comes to outbreaks and BOWs. He didn't leave the BSAA, but the organization, and specifically Chris, is just heavily involved with Blue Umbrella operations right now, which also gives him access to a lot of secret Umbrella data, especially since the different factions weren't completely independent of each other. Now he's had a weird attitude adjustment since the end of RE7, but we know he's continued to work hand in hand with Blue Umbrella as they requested him to investigate a village that we know ties to OG Umbrella. The mission was obviously a failure, with Chris seemingly affected and acting out orders for the village now.
Chris? Sorry, Ethan.
Fact number 4. Umbrella is not good, but they're not completely evil either. The original goal of Umbrella was to evolve the human species and act as gods of said evolution, basically seeking a grand reputation for moving the human species forward. Albert Wesker basically being proof of concept, even though he himself was a senior researcher at the company as well. Wesker was already a cold and self-motivated individual, and Umbrella helped cultivate that in him at a young age, making him strive to be the best no matter what. But that backfired because Wesker had his own idea of evolution that involved mass human extinction. So now with basically unlimited physical power, he had the means to do exactly that, betraying Umbrella, stealing their research, and working with other companies with more sinister goals, adding a big boom to the bioweapons black market. Wesker is proof that Umbrella is playing God without considering the consequences. Every time a project fails, it leads to catastrophe. And since they don't require good morality to work for them, just an extreme drive and intelligence, they have a bad habit of hiring mad scientists with their own ideas of how things should go. Fact number 5. Everything is basically Umbrella's fault. Because they stole ancient African fauna literally to the point of having a steady shipment of it, kept it secret just like Tricell shady asses, discovered the progenitor virus, and got the help of a bunch of rich assholes and mad scientists for their experiments, then sold successful experiments as BOWs to top buyers to keep up funding for said experiments. Now, almost all the blood that we've seen spilled in the RE universe leads back to them, whether it's the T virus, the G virus, the T plus G virus, Lost Plaga, to Wesker projects, Nemesis projects, you name it. 9 times out of 10, all roads will lead back to Umbrella trying to play God even after they got shut down. Albert Wesker being one of their biggest failures, giving the world's worst organizations access to forbidden knowledge while continuing research on himself and others. I'll leave a link below if you want to see how the Umbrella ripple effect shaped the entirety of the RE universe. But that's all I have for you guys today. What do you guys think about Umbrella? Do you trust that the government will use Blue Umbrella correctly and won't cave into the knowledge and power? Leave a comment down below. But until then, I'm Cosmic, aka the Cosmic Anomaly. You've been great. Thanks for watching and stay creative. Peace.